Welcome to another Cougar 2 restoration, rebuild, put together bits, stuff together video. And we're actually getting to the juicy bit of the build, the very juicy bit. And that's actually putting the components we've fitted together already, like the bulkhead, rear bulkhead, all that sort of stuff. We're fitting it to the chassis, which I have painted red. I had a B grade chassis with some holes in it. I did a bit of jiggling, a bit of filling, painted it red. It's okay. It's a nice red chassis. It's nice and red, but I don't really like it that much. But anyway, I'm gonna carry on with the build as it is, and I'm gonna put it together. I'm gonna start with these pesky things, these plastic blocks, 8 bars, and I'm gonna smash these together very quickly because it's not actually that hard. The only actual problem you have is that there's a camera in the way. And this isn't actually a big job, but when you got a big fat camera in your face, it becomes difficult. It looks hot. It looks more difficult than it is. It's not actually that hard. But anyway, stop talking rubbish and let's get it together. The screws, I'm not even sure what side it's left side into. This is left side wishbone. The tiny issue with this, very tiny, is that now the holes have got paint in, so screws don't actually just push in. Normally they just push in. So now they've got holes in, now they've got paint in the holes that are a bit like difficult, but anyway, it's not an issue. It's not an issue. It's not an issue, excuse me. Standard spacers. I can't remember off the top of my head what size they are. And they're standard anyway. They're standard. You can change them. It's all to do with the setup of the car. They are made to set the wheels in and out, tilt the wishbones. It's all to do with the setup of your vehicle. So you can put more in or even take them out. So I'm rebuilding to the manual, the standard manual. So this rebuild is replicating standard manual build. There's no extras. Nothing's been added. No modifications. Very standard manual build. And like I say, this only becomes awkward when you've got a camera in your face. This is normally very straightforward. Very straightforward build. I'll let you into a little secret. I do, after I've finished this build, shouldn't tell you, but I do actually use the original chassis. Now, a little confession, I do actually swap the chassis back to the original because the chassis I painted is nice and red, but it needs to be original when it's not, and it's not a good enough color match to leave it. I would love to get a chassis anodized red because I've got some chassis which have the correct holes, but the plain alley. I don't know why. Plain alley. There must be from a different version of a Cougar in some description. But anyway, don't worry about that. We is bothered about this build, and it does look at the end. Believe me, it looks okay. It looks alright. Nice red chassis. Thing is, you can paint your chassis whatever colour you want. Black, matte black, white, pink, red. Doesn't matter. If you like it, you like it. But I did this, and don't actually like it that much. It's alright. Very shelfy. Very shelfy queen. It wasn't good enough for me. Wasn't good enough. But anyway, we're fitting wishbones, so let's not talk complete rubbish about painting a chassis. Got to remember, we're using original screws, original nuts. I've recently built another Cougar too. I've put all stainless screws in it and hex screws, so modified it with mods. But these are standard. And this early version of the Cougar 2, the rear bulkhead, you'll see in a minute, because the screws are threaded, they only screw into the bulkhead, they're not bolted. So I think the Club 10, which used a very similar bulkhead, was bolted on, and the Cougar 2 Works, that was bolted on. So this early version of the Team Racing Cougar 2, the actual bulkhead screws on. So if you ever purchase one, if you ever buy one of these, look out for key original features. And the bulkhead, when we get to it, you'll see it eventually on here. The bulkhead screws on. So if you ever buy an original model, that is a feature to look for. The works was bolted, and if someone's put a Club 10 bulkhead on with the extra hole, that's bolted as well. The reason, obviously with strength, but the early Cougar 2 bulkheads, the hole in the bulkhead is quite small, so the screw taps into it. It's a tapper, self-tapper. So if someone's modified it and drilled it, you don't want it because it's been modified, it's not original. It depends what originality you want out of your model. I mean, I swapped the chassis back to the original because it's not original. Want an original model, it's not original. So anyway, these pesky little plastic blocks, you can actually get them nowadays in Ali. Someone on the Fleabay sells them in Ali, about 20 quid I think now. To me, it's just bling. If you want to put Ali ones on, it's just bling. Doesn't really achieve much. They do wear out though. If you're driving outside and like you're towsing around, you can catch them and they do wear out, but I've never ever broken one or bent one. So technically, if you put an aluminium one on, you are putting bling on your model. They don't actually need to be Ali. They're not doing anything. As long as your wishbones are swinging freely, you don't need Ali blocks. So we're getting to, where are we? We are going to port some more stuff on. You see how it's starting to fall. One of these builds, you can actually put one of these cars together quite quickly. Probably 2 or 3 hours if they don't get disturbed. Not actually that difficult, but this has took a long time because I've got a camera in my face. But anyway, you'll see what I mean about these rear bulkhead screws. They tap in. Them is tappers. They is not bolts. There you go, look. I'm tapping away, and here she goes. That is a self-tapper. And it's interesting how stuff changes over the years because the original Cougar and the Top Cat, they both used the same method. Obviously, it was deemed not strong enough. But saying that, I don't like to keep saying that, but I never had one of these snap or come out or the bulkhead snap with a nice big long self-tapper. No issues whatsoever. But see, the build I've just done, I used a Works bulkhead and the holes were big. So I put a nice stainless steel hex screw through and a self-locking nut. So stuff changes over the years, and you do need to keep up with the times as such. But anyway, this model, because we're keeping it original, I had to make sure, I had to double check the bulkhead, and I had to make sure the holes hadn't been drilled out, and luckily they hadn't. So the actual self tappers do tighten very nicely. It's very surprising how strong these actually are. I suppose they could come loose. So I suppose how much you're racing. When I was racing, I remember anything like this breaking. Like I say, I only had one wishbone that broke. So modifications normally because they improve stuff, but why improve stuff if it works? But obviously it didn't, so they improved it. Saying that about the wishbones, made them different. Put the 8 bar on these hubs. Changed that. I don't know why they changed the aero disc ones. The original ones were discs. I don't know why they changed them. These look better. Plus they're adjustable because they've got 2 holes in, obviously. These rear hubs come on quite a few models. It's not just a Cougar 2. They put them on Club 10. I think they put them on Boss Cat as well. I think the same ones are on the Boss Cat. Definitely on the Cougar 2. They're very, very similar. You can still get hold of them. Very easy to get hold of these, actually. Very easy. If you want to modify your Cougars, you can get these rear hubs quite easily. You have to just look on the flea bay. You have to excuse me messing around with this bar. I do believe I picked up the bent one. It doesn't go in. So when I disappear off camera, you know what I'm doing. I'm picking up the right bar. Excuse me. But as the build goes, once this is done, it's very rapid in its conclusion because gearbox, bulkhead, you're talking 4 screws for the gearbox. Well, no, it's to the front to 6. 6 screws, gearbox, 4 screws, bulkhead. Yeah, so you're cooking with gas once you got this bit on. You have to say in the comments how difficult you think a Cougar is to build. I think the drive shafts, the universal joint on the drive shafts are a bit awkward. You have to remember to warm them up. If you ever put any drive shafts together and you struggle, get them pesky little ball joint drive shaft joiners, whatever you want to call them. Just put your drive shafts in some hot water, warm them up, and they click in. Takes 2 seconds. They even give you a tool to do it. It's not old. I've seen many people chibbing on about the drive shafts. It's not difficult to put them together. You need like metal fingers or the proper tool or some water. It's not old at all. But anyway, so have to excuse me for talking the rubbish again. I'm struggling to get this rear hub connected to this wishbone. It is slightly aggravating me because I have a big fat camera in my face. And here we go. Let's get it in. Let's do it properly. How many people actually do their build on a table? You might have it in front of you, but how many people actually put the car on the lap while they're doing it? It seems to be a habit. The table gets covered in stuff, car ends up on your lap. But it seems to be the way to do it. It's very straightforward. It's easy. Look at this. Got it in. It was a bit of a cheat. I had the wrong bar. I was trying to put the bent one in. So look at that. Beautiful. And it's dropping. Look at that. 0 friction. And no shims required. You know what? Why no shims required? Because it was too tight to start with. I had to file it. I had to file that model. But this thing is, that's it. That's the bar. Just goes in with a couple of a grub screw. Held in with a grub screw, and job done. You just don't forget the stainless steel ball bearings, obviously sealed. I mean, you could waste a lot of money on ceramic ones, or whatever they call them nowadays, but you don't really see the point. Unless you're like a world championship driver, why spend like £100 on ceramic bearings? No need. No need. You may as well do it on the cheap. I know you could easily spend £1,000 modifying one of these. Don't really see the point. But to be fair, I've spent a fair bit on my next build, but it's not on major stuff. It's mainly on like carbon fibre bits. But anyway, we're not talking about that one. We're showing this one. So, hub on. The hub is on. Thank God for that. The hub is on. The bulkhead is on. Second hub is going on. And see what I mean about the chassis? It's okay. It's red. It looks alright, but it's not original. I want it to look original. I would really love to get a mint condition chassis. It would be lovely to get a mint condition chassis, but it ain't happening. So I put the original back on, and I might actually put some electronics in it and get it running. But the thing is, you don't want to damage it. So here you go. Anyway, second hub on, and the little grub screw to hold it on. Very good idea. It just stops the bar from coming out. But saying that, they're a bit of a bitch to put in. So I reckon they would take quite a while to vibrate out. Quite a while. But anyway, I finished this by smashing in this grub screw, which does go in eventually. Looking very nice, actually. Looking very nice. See, I think I'm not actually following the instruction manual step by step, but she's probably supposed to because it's easier. I'm just doing it the way it's easier for me, to be fair. I like to put all my bits on my bulkhead, then put it on in one bit, and then fit all the ancillary items. But anyway, it's just showing how free these wishbones are. This is what you want. You want your suspension to work just as suspension. You don't want it to be working against any other items. You don't want any friction on the model. Any friction. But anyway, that's this one done. That is this one done. This stage is done. And laters.